Hey everyone, in this lesson we're going to be going over how to change the color of the different selectors, and we're also be learning a little bit about font families and different ways we can change the fonts in our websites. So the first thing we're going to go over is color. Now in the previous lesson we were able to take this paragraph selector and we were able to change it to the color blue. Now the blue that's defined inside HTML, such as this value over here, is a defined shade of blue. Now all blues are not created equal. We have different shades of blue, we have different shades of gray, we have different shades of green, and limiting ourselves to just the standard blue sometimes is a restriction on us to web design. So we want to be able to change our colors and make it exactly the shade of the color that we want it. So we can do this in multiple ways. So let's go ahead and delete this color blue value. Alright. Now we can choose our different colors through different types of value extras we can add to this color declaration. For example, we can write RGB. Now RGB will allow us to set the red, green, and blue values of the color. For example, let's say we had a value of 90, 100, and 50. Now inside this RGB parentheses, we want to close it off with another parentheses and close it off with another semicolon. So what we have done is we've set the color to an RGB value, a red, green, blue value of 90, 100, and 50. Now this is basically creating our own custom color tailored to whatever we want. So let's go ahead and save that and see what it comes with. I have no clue what this is going to look like. So there we go. This is what our RGB color came out to look like. Now this is not the same thing as any other basic colors that we could get out there, such as green, blue, white. Those all have a defined color variation or color shade to them. But now with RGB, we can basically create our own custom colors and design our own website to the color palette that we choose. Now we're not only limited to RGB, we can even mess around with hex colors. So we can just clear out this RGB and we can write hex colors, and that's through the use of a hashtag. So we can write hashtag, let's try CCC. Now I know for a fact this turns out a gray color, so we can go ahead and save this and we can go ahead and view this. So there we go, we got a nice gray color over there, and that's it. We can create our own custom colors. Now we can go through many different websites such as this one, colorhex.com, and we can choose a variation of different colors and it outputs for us different hex codes. So as you can see, we have this nice color over here. I like it. So let's go ahead and copy this. So Control C or Command C. Now let's go ahead and implement it onto our website. So we'll just delete all of this and we'll paste in our new custom hex code. Let's save it. And we're going to be able to have this code, this color, should I say, into our website. So let's go ahead and view the HTML. And there we go. We got that color implemented into our website. So colors are really easy, it's a lot of fun to work with, and it really allows us as web designers and web developers to create our own custom websites tailored to our color palettes. So next thing up is font. Now font's a little tricky of a subject. Now font depends on what type of font the user has installed on their computer. Now there's many web safe fonts that we can implement into our website. So the way we do this is by setting the font family. So let's go ahead and write font family with a semicolon, and now let's find one of these web safe font families, and a good example of that is called Arial. So we'll go ahead and make this Arial with a semicolon at the end, and let's save that. As you can see, we have an Arial right here, and we can go back and change this to something different, such as another web safe font such as Times New Roman. Let's go ahead and save that, and let's view that. And there we go, now we have Times New Roman. Now these are one of the many web safe fonts that we can implement into our website, but sometimes these web safe fonts are a little boring. So later on, I'm going to show you how to import different types of fonts that you can get from example like Google Fonts. So let's go ahead and keep working with this. I'm going to switch back over to Arial. Let's save that, and let's see what else we can do with fonts. So we can change font size with this. So we're going to do font dash size. And now we're able to change the font size over here. Now we can do this through many different ways. We can either choose pixels, so how many pixels the size is, or we can choose this through point, so for example like 12-point font, and we can even do this through M units. Now M units are basically the size of the current font that you're using. For example, let's say in the paragraph I was already using size 16 font. Now in this paragraph I want to use double that size. So instead of saying 32 point, I'm going to say 2 M units, because 1 M unit referred to the size 16 font I was using before. Now 2 M units will refer to 2 times or double the size of the font I was using before. So let's go ahead and set font size to 16 point, so 16 PT, and we'll go ahead and add a semicolon, and let's go ahead and save this. And let's go see what happens. So we now created a 16 point paragraph, and we can even make this smaller. So let's say we want a 2 point. Let's do Control S, and let's go ahead and save this. And there we go, now we have a smaller font size. So next up in font is something called font weight. Now font weight basically allows us to change the value or how bold something is, basically the thickness of that font. So currently our font weight is already selected at 100. Now this is the normal font weight that we have. So in order to see a difference, we need to select something that's a little bit thicker or bolder. So let's go ahead and type in font weight equals, let's try 700 as our value. Let's go ahead and add a semicolon, and let's go save this, and we should see a thicker and more heavier paragraph. And there we go. Now we have a bolder paragraph font weight. Now we can go ahead and change this back to 100, which should look like normal font weight. And there we go. Now we don't always have to choose from different values. We can also write bold as one of our values, and this will bold our text. So that is font weight. It's very simple to implement into our CSS and very effective in creating different types of font variations inside here. Instead of making it seem really plain and basic, we are able to customize and be able to create our own web page to our styling desires. So in the next lesson, we'll be doing a little styling exercise. Stay tuned for that, and see you in the next one.